Hi, and thank you for watching my videos on YouTube, BitChute, or archive.org, or you might be watching me via Twitter. This is show number 44. It's the Sunday call. It's the 29th of January, 2023, and my name is DJ Chris. I'm your moderator and host, and we have a little work group here that meets every Sunday night on freeconferencecall.com. And the ID, of course, is TargetedWest. And I have a website called TargetedWest.com and a presence on Twitter under TI Club 3. I hope to see you there. I post a lot of important videos and articles on Twitter, even though Twitter has not been very dependable and cut off the ability to embed YouTube videos, but you can still watch them. You got to click on the words below. So they're playing games. Anyway, I'm not a lone wolf. I'm not a group wolf. I'm not in the wolf family. I'm not violent. I don't spew violent information. I don't give mis, or disinformation. I repeat what people tell me in emails that I glean and on Twitter and YouTube and various websites, including activist posts, and I repost articles and I come up with topics for our work group. And that's basically it. I'm not out to overthrow any governments or make anybody uncomfortable. I'm just trying to spill out the facts because I have telepathy in my head for 21 years that I can't quite figure out. And I met other people on these calls that have the same issue. Okay? I'm in Lodi, California, of course, same place. The water's receding. It's not an island anymore. And we're drying out, thank goodness. It's 6 o'clock now. It's 6:02, and welcome to the call. I see we're filling up already. It's going to be a light call tonight. Amy Holem is on Samia's call, so check that out on tievents.org. tievents.org has every call listing for you to go to. If you're watching my video during the week, you can go there and find out if there's a live conference you can attend and still watching this recording. That way you can interject and be interactive with the conference and bring in your opinions and research to the group. Anyway, the first topic of discussion is the main topic, and that is the technology of M.A.S.E.R. And I have been told in my head, screaming at me again, I thought I'd try it once, and they screamed at me, and they did it again, and they want me to just do a quick overview of what M.A.S.E.R is. M.A.S.E.R is, if I can get this right, microwave amplified stimulation emission of radiation. It is a microwave laser that was invented in the 50s. It was the predecessor to the light laser that you use for CDs, DVDs, and other things. I found out that you can make a laser into a M.A.S.E.R by using a certain crystal chemical, and it'll convert it. So you could probably do this inexpensively, since it takes a environment where it's very cold for a M.A.S.E.R to work properly. And of course, it's not that powerful of a M.A.S.E.R, so they would probably use some type of amplification for it. But remind you, M.A.S.E.R is used for communicating up in deep space. So, of course, the M.A.S.E.R can be used to communicate with people on Earth using satellites, or at least tracking us. This is part of a DNA entanglement through D-Wave or other types of quantum-based supercomputers, which are sometimes not only hard, but bio-based. So they can be a bio-based computer that can talk in entanglement code to your DNA through your body through this M.A.S.E.R, and that's my current hypothesis about how I think it works. You may disagree with me, and of course that isn't the case in every case. with everybody getting telepathy in their heads. It could be from a different source or a different technology other than that, but I believe that's one of the viable ones. And the M.A.S.E.R is used in that. And I'm going by the fact that whomever is hacking my brain goes on and on and on about the M.A.S.E.R not being discussed. So I discussed it. So you can go to the Stanford EDU website article that I put on TI Club 3 on Twitter, and you can read more about it. And there's also an article from Scientific American about that technology. Next is, let's check the clock. It's 6 minutes after. Very good. We're talking about our mascot, Chippy. I guess Chippy has moved to a different home, and Chippy is no longer hanging out at Caller OO's house, which is no fun. I have 2 cats that did that. I treated one for an eye infection, and now he won't come back and visit me. He thinks I hurt him, but his eye looks better. Oh well, he'll come back. They always do. Next is, which brings me to this. I treated the cat's eye, and I didn't have access to an antibiotic. And how am I going to take a mostly feral, crazy cat into God knows what doctor, wherever, vet, at $400 to $500 a pop just to get a little tiny tube of antibiotic ointment for his eye and or conjunctivitis medicine if needed. But apparently it was just a small infection, and we found out through our research that stuff like this, tetramycin, which is what we use right on the cat's eye, fixed it, and I got it over the counter. And come to find out, the United States is canceling out all ability to buy over-the-counter little things like that for your animals without having to spend money going to the vet. That includes fish medication. That includes horse. And all the farms and everything are completely told now that in order to get any type of antibiotic, you have to go through a doctor and get a prescription. And that's going to be as of June 11th, 2023. So now is the time, if you're a good little prepper. I'm not a big prepper, but I do prep sometimes. It is good to have these things available because they can be used on humans too, in case you run into an emergency and you don't have access to a medical situation, or we have I'll just say that shit hits a fan and you're in a situation where you need an antibiotic for a wound and everything's gone to hell. You'll have that available in your kit. So they're getting ready to outlaw that. It's just ridiculous. You know, we're to the point now where we can't afford anything in America. The price of everything has gone freaking skyrocket high. And then now you expect us, how do you expect to run a farm when you know damn well the animals get infections for some situations, and you know darn well that your doctor's treated it before, and you know just a little simple antibiotic fixes, and now they're shutting it all down. So now's the time to get those items in your stock and saved for an emergency. Okay, the time now is 6:09 p.m. This is DJ Chris, and you're listening to TargetedWest.com. And it's Sunday night. The next is the U.S. Freedom Act of 2015, the Patriot Act, which I believe I got pulled into because my targeting started right after they signed the Patriot Act and put it into law, which I think was on October 28th of 2001. Well, the Patriot Act was extremely invasive, and a lot of people pushed back on it. So there was H.R. 2048, which was sitting around that got modified a few times, and then they ended up making that in effect to replace the Patriot Act. So it's now called the Freedom Act since June 12, 2015, but they kept most of the pieces about surveillance in. They didn't get rid of surveillance or the FISA courts. They just make you have to do certain things differently. Then you still have mass surveillance of all of your data, internet, and phone. And you know damn well they're now hacking our brains using fourth industrial revolution technologies beyond anything anyone in a science fiction world would ever even dream of. The hacking of the brain now gives them total, complete, 100% total information awareness. You cannot hide from them now. And it's all done through the DNA. Like I said with the M.A.S.E.R system and or whatever technology they're using to pick up our body and our brain resonance, which is from the DNA we have. And everybody's DNA is distinctive, and so is your resonance. It's like a fingerprint. So, plus they know pretty much humans don't usually move around much. So it's easily to track around, and they stay at home, which they've made everything so expensive that you stay home a lot more. And they know where you're at, so it's easy to lock in on you. You're like a cell phone, basically, with a distinctive number being your DNA resonance. And that's how they do it. So not only does the Freedom Act change the laws that allow you to be surveilled, but it still keeps in the biological part that they're allowing them to do countermeasures to prevent biological war. And as I said, Janet Phelan is going to be on our call soon as her technical difficulties are fixed. She will be on the call to discuss more about biological weapons and about a technology she mentioned in her book called BioWatch, which is a multi-billion-dollar system that's supposed to monitor the air and the environment for things like biological weapons. And the COVID came along, and it didn't get detected because they said it wasn't a bioweapon, but I think it could be. So that's HR 2048, and that's a replacement of the Patriot Act, but most of the same pieces in the Patriot Act are still there. But I see in a lot of references and people mentioning the Patriot Act still, so I don't see them mentioning the Freedom Act hardly at all, so it confuses me. Which one do I go by? Because there's so many amendments that you have to go piece by piece to figure it out. So again, that's the USA Freedom Act 2015. We'll go into more detail in future shows. So if you want to research that now and email me with a synopsis of what you'd like to talk about, you can come on the call and discuss the Patriot Act and Freedom Act. And that was Linda Costanzo's thing when we last spoke. She was researching the Patriot Act and before we lost her. So that would be in memory of Linda. And if you could research it and get back with me at djchris@targetedwest.com, I would greatly appreciate it. We can have you on in a future episode. Next topic at 6:14 is the San Francisco homeless problem is completely out of control, and the media isn't showing hardly anything. So there's this guy that goes around with his cell phone and shows all the nitty-gritty, and he'll come up to people that are homeless and ask them if they want help, and most of the time they'll say yes, but there isn't any. And sometimes when they go to get help, they throw them back on the street when they're done and don't find them housing, and sometimes they just give them housing with aluminum, a pipe, and some needles and let them have at it in their, usually a hotel room that they got rented for them. So they're not checking on them, making sure they're getting treatment for mental health and drug use. Now, I'm not saying all homeless people have a drug problem or mental health, but being on the street for a while creates a mental health crisis, and being around a bunch of drug addicts sometimes creates more drug addicts because you get broken down by the constant um, reminder that there's drugs available by the drug dealers that come into these homeless encampments and sell. So, what do you do? So this guy posts a lot of stuff on there, and I put his information and his video on my TI Club 3 for you to check out. And it's right there with California Insider, and California Insider's interviewing him, and it's a black guy with all white, and you'll see the video there, and you click on it, and it's heartbreaking. So young people on the street, too young. I mean, and fentanyl is the killer. Fentanyl is what's hooking them right now. So it's a real big problem, and a lot of people in San Francisco are moving out. I did a Realtor.com check, and there are quite a few listings in San Francisco right now, along with the LA and Beverly Hills. So again, that's San Francisco Homeless Citizen Post video, and that's that. There's Pika. Yeah, that fentanyl is so tragic, and it's coming from China mostly, and it gets sent here to hook people. And I think that's kind of a way to break down the United States to make it cheap, so that they can buy it for 10 cents on the dollar. Okay, next one is going to blow your mind away. This is going to really blow your mind. So I'm glad there's enough people here. Stephen, I don't know if Stephen's here yet or not, but he sent me an email that blew my mind away. It's from a company called Amazing One. That's amazing, the number one.com, and it's a pain-inducing alarm system. That's right. People can go out and buy a directed energy weapon to attach to their alarm system in their home or business. So what would stop them from using that on their neighbor, or any unsuspecting victim? They are selling directed, I'm going to say this again for the recording, they are selling directed energy weapons for home and business alarm systems, personnel deflection systems, personnel, basically using a pain wave causes pain and disorientation. Sound familiar? That's absolutely wild. They even caught somebody using a microwave type device in a van that was backing it up into buildings trying to kill people. So of course people are going to use a directed energy weapon on others. Especially when you do the game where you deem somebody a lone wolf or a terrorist, domestic terrorist. That's an easy way. Everybody's going to be a domestic terrorist at the end. Are you a domestic terrorist too? Oh, yeah. I've been one for years. It's going to be a badge of honor. Everybody's going to be a domestic terrorist eventually. You brought the war home, didn't you? You couldn't fight the wars in the other countries enough. You had to bring the war home, didn't you? Didn't you? You had to bring the frickin' war home. That's what you did. You brought the whole war home. We're not all domestic frickin' terrorists. You're the domestic terrorist, and you damn well know it. And I know there are people in the intelligence community and military and LEO and such that watch this video. And you know that I know you're watching me, and there is nothing here to see except information about the Fourth Industrial Revolution and kind of about how humans behave, especially when they get behind the scenes and deem somebody a domestic terrorist, and the neighbors come after you and start zapping you with a directed energy weapon that you can buy online, which is crazy. Next topic. It's now 6:20. Is I have now officially 1,000 followers on Twitter. That's pretty good for 1 year. 1,000 people on Twitter, which is pretty cool. Let me take a little break. It's 43 degrees in Lodi. Lodi is 30 miles west of Sacramento. It's next to Stockton, which is the hellhole capital of the world where my mother-in-law lives. We're right on the edge of both. And then I moved my RV around to different places around the area. I've been to the Bay Area in my RV, as I am right now. And I'm now in Lodi, in that area, kind of near home. But I don't like being home because my mother-in-law smokes cigarettes all the time. And I can't stand cigarette smoke. Okay, next is BioWatch. It's open mic time. It's show number 44. It's the 29th. And BioWatch is a multi-billion-dollar program that Janet Phelan mentioned in her book, an interview with Sean Stone. And Sean Stone has been notified about my call and my book, and hopefully he'll contact me, and if I can get an interview with Sean Stone, that would be awesome. So that's just a little tease for you. Janet Phelan has interviewed with him and others, so she's friends with him and knows many people, so she's a great friend of the call, and she'll be on soon, of course. And then maybe I can get an interview with Sean Stone. That would be incredible. Oh, thank you, caller 00. Yes, Britney Spears had they did a welfare check on her today. So they're already playing that game with her again, the welfare check game. So why didn't the BioWatch detect the biological weapon of the COVID? I guess because they didn't want you to think it's a biological weapon. But it's possible that it was created as a gain of use countermeasure for biological war that's going on. There's several biological facilities at different levels of severity of how contagious they are, like 1 to level 4. And there's anthrax, botulism, coronaviruses, and all sorts of different crazy stuff all over the world at different labs. And the United States has made a mistake of shipping out anthrax to a bunch of people via FedEx. So, you know, with those types of mistakes you make, one mistake with the coronavirus in the lab, I'm not saying they intended to infect anyone. I'm saying it's an accident and it got out. Okay? So why didn't BioWatch detect that? That's because it's a huge failure. And I posted on TI Club 3 an article about the fact that it is a dismal failure, and that's from defensenews.com. And you'll see the article on my Twitter feed. Yeah, they did the welfare check on Britney Spears again. That's just absolutely crazy. Next thing, I didn't get to say this last week, but the Delta Boys, which is a cannabis club in Ileton, right down the street. Well, not really down the street, kind of towards Rio Vista, on the other side towards the Bay Area, towards Antioch, over there near the Sacramento River. Well, the Delta Boys lost $250,000 worth of weed, uh, and they've been robbed 5 times, and they've had over $1 million worth of cannabis taken. They're a legitimate shop with licenses, and they pay taxes, and the police will not do anything after $1 million worth of cannabis was stolen. They won't do a thing. Now, wild. And then I put a big civil asset forfeiture win with the Institute for Justice, and a discussion overall about how civil forfeiture works. I believe my home was about to be taken under civil forfeiture right after the Patriot Act was signed, and I had a small drug relapse, which my book mentions. And then they all of a sudden wanted to, I believe, take my house because they felt everybody was a terrorist back then. You remember Bush said, if you're not with us, you're against us. I didn't say I was against him. I didn't say I was for him. I wasn't for anything. But I'm just minding my own business in my home, and all of a sudden, you know, I've got helicopters above, or a helicopter above my roof, and the district attorney across the street acting up. And I believe that was because of civil asset forfeiture. So I put an article on TI Club 3 in great detail that tells you exactly how that works. Okay, let's look down into the screen. We got Laura. We got a green Cadillac in the chat room, which looks like a 69 and 70. Wow, that's a nice one. The Rosen traders that owned the property in Seacliff used to rent to us had that same car. And we had a green Chrysler, and they had a green Cadillac. And there's little DJ Chris in the back seat, like little Lord Fauntleroy driving to the ocean. Boy, those were the days. You know, it was like $300 a week to rent a house back then. Boy, those were the days. But they didn't get my house because I sobered up, so the civil asset forfeiture didn't work, and the attorney got sick and died, and that ended that story. IntelliHub. Now, IntelliHub, I did some background check on. They're a little righty, a little conspiracy-ish, but they do have incredible information, and a lot of people get labeled like that who give out alternative news, so that can't really be true. But so what? They have an article that went viral on Twitter with several dozen likes and reposts. I mean, I have never seen an article go crazy, and that is IntelliHub, FBI, NSA have been outsourcing to soft kill and murder TIs. And I even had Karen Stewart repost the article with a comment on my behalf saying, yep, that happened to me. So even she saw it, everybody saw it. It ended up being very viral. And if you're watching this video, I will put the article in the show notes or in the comment section by Monday morning for you. So basically, it's a hacker, XKeystroke guy that XKeyscore, and he's a hacker that's got a master's degree or two and studies in the Middle Eastern culture and stuff, and he knows what he's talking about. So, I mean, you know, it's not conspiracy. We all know well that we're being broken down by a group of people that get paid this gigantic security network of spend billions of dollars watching people on watch lists. It's done all over the world. Everybody's got a watch list of people they watch. I think people just like to watch people. Okay. It's now 6:30, and we'll switch to open mic. Okay, next subject is my book, the Targeted Trilogy book, is now available on Audible.com. Just type in the Targeted Trilogy Audiobook at Audible.com, and soon to be Apple Audiobooks and Amazon too will carry it. And that should be in the June. It's already there. I've already sold a few copies, and you can find the link on the call. Sorry for the shameless plug, but that's my book that tells my life story. Here's the back of the book with me on the back.
DJ?
Hey, come on in.
Oh, you mentioned Britney Spears, but is she still under her dad's conservatorship, or was she able to get out from under him?
She got out from under him. She's free.
Okay, good. Thank you.
She's a targeted individual. Yeah, come on in.
This is Rachel, and I've been wanting to say something.
Go ahead, Rachel.
Okay. Tonight when I was driving home and it was very cold out, I rolled my windows up and it started to fog up, and there was little tiny circles, smattered all over my windshield. Like where the steam doesn't steam. And
were the circles brown, like burnt type circles?
They just looked like where steam wouldn't go, and it was just smattered with them.
Like brown. They weren't brown. Okay.
I don't think so. I never would have saw them if I hadn't steamed up my window.
Because that's how Dr. Matt showed on the documentary. Yeah. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
So, I guess to me it was just, my windshield is smattered with evidence. I'm sure there's a way to find out what makes those circles, and so it's probably, all over vehicles.
Well, that's why I asked, because mine will show up as brown, like burnt from the being burnt through the window. So that's why I was asking if they were brown in color. But if you couldn't tell, I don't know.
I couldn't tell.
I do not get circles on my windows. Sorry, I just get the voices in my head, and they was zapping my foot today too. It was crazy. Last topic on my open mic list is Twitter has blocked the ability to watch videos from YouTube on Twitter. I guess they're having some type of fight, but you can do a workaround. You can click on the below part where the description is, and you'll get through. But anyway, yeah, it is. Matthew did have the picture of that inside of his window. I have another theory on that, but I won't talk about it. But yeah, that is possible.
Why won't you talk about your other theory? Hello?
Why won't he talk about what?
This is a V2K. This is a V2K call. I'm not into trying to figure out why there's circles on the window, unfortunately.
Oh, okay.
And Rachel, what size? Like, in diameter with the circles? Because I think you said they were small.
Very small, about the size of the little circular icons at the top of my cell phone.
Wow, that is small. Okay, because I've seen them in huge, really large diameter on my rear window, but I know that they're always behind me when I sleep in my car, so it didn't surprise me that. Okay, but in the front, that's interesting.
Well, my main point is if other people check out with Steam on Windows, to me, since Matthew Aaron showed us how they're doing it and what the market leaves and why they like to hit through glass, it's a whole bunch of evidence all over the place. So I don't get V2K. So, they vary our programs. But I'm getting hit hard with radiation or weapons or whatever it is that I can't see and can't protect myself from. But I want to go steam up other people's cars and see what their windshield looks like, because it did not look normal. It looked like smattered, like I'm getting completely hit so much.
Yeah. And you probably are, because you recognize that you're being hit badly with direct energy.
It pings all over it when I'm inside, like pinging on my blankets, on my fingernails, it's horrid. Yeah. But if they're thinking that they leave no evidence, I think that's not true. It's just not obvious evidence.
I'd like to suggest they're just not thinking.
But to me, I'm driving around with evidence all over my window. All you need is steam. I don't even know if I wash my windows inside and out, will those circles disappear or not? But I'm pretty darn sure some kind of unseen weapon is causing that.
Well, I'm sure the same weapons that you're feeling, that you're being hit with.
My skin is burning, my nose is burning. They hit the side of my nose like a week and a half ago, and it's still burning in the same spot. But I just hope we're cracking this open. Anyway, I just wanted to get on and tell my story that just happened to me.
Thank you for sharing your story with us. Does anyone have any stories to share tonight? Oh, it's open mic. You can talk amongst yourselves or ask questions if you want, or talk about the topics on the call. Rachel just shared her experience with the window making marks, and it could be caused from directed energy weapons. So that's what the discussion was about.
Hey, Chris. Good evening.
Oh, hello, Laura. Do you have any announcements to make about what you told me in email?
Well, yeah, I'm gonna hold off on that until next week. I am doing a call. I'll let everybody know, let Chris know. And Tranquility, actually, I just sent it to you in the chat.
Yeah, I emailed her on your behalf, and she's ready for your information whenever you want to. I already emailed her for you.
Yeah, so we'll start that next week, but that's...
Okay, so Laura's going to have an after call after mine next week, possibly. We're going to try to work through that. And, yeah, great.
And it's going to be called Voice to Heart. That'll be on at 9. It'll be listed on TI events, I guess, and it'll be fun.
Are you saying 9, what time zone?
Mountain Standard.
Okay.
Standard time. So right after Chris's call. I did want to say that a lot of women here right now are being hit, and we're we've been keeping a journal of the kind of the worser attacks. And when we got together, some of us, and compared notes, it was interesting. I was noticing some of our attacks during the days are 3 minutes apart or something, hoping that we could get all. Maybe there's a pattern in there somewhere. I don't know. Find it odd. However, I was very excited to talk to Janet Palin if she was here about bioweapons and what she had to say about that. My question would be for her, bioweapons be transmitted sexually?
Yes, they can. Well, HIV was a bioweapon, and it was. So I believe HIV is a bioweapon, in my opinion. And I have HIV, so yeah, it could be.
What about in mold? Say in moldy pot?
Oh, you mean in marijuana?
Yeah, moldy cannabis.
No, I don't think it would. It would have to stay moist. Well, cannabis is a little bit moist, so that's a good question. It could be put in anything, yes. It could be put in the water system, according to Janet.
In anything, okay. Those are my two big questions for her, and maybe I'll just listen now. Okay.
Sounds good. So Laura's going to do a call after hours next week, and that'll be announced. That'll be cool beans. And if anybody else wants to do a call and you need advice, send me an email, and I'll be glad to help you out, because the more the merrier. And I think we should have at least 2 calls every night during the regular time zone, and have people have a variety. Right now, Samia has Amy Holem on, and then tomorrow is Frank's call and Derek's, and Tuesday is James. So if you're watching this video now, you can go to tievents.org, and that'll have Laura's call listed too, and all the other calls, including mine, so check it out. Open mic.
And I wanted to say thank you to Laura for something she said recently on a call that is critically important and stuck with me, and I share it with others.
What was it?
Ooh. Well, do you remember, I don't know, there was a few of us talking recently, and some were saying their job was to do certain things, and you said, I thought you said your first job was to thrive, and I really like that, because that's my first job too.
You have to take care of yourself first before you can take care of others, yes.
You remember that, Laura?
Oh, yes. And that's my little game. If I can thrive, then I win.
Yep, exactly. So thank you.
Did I hear Steve out there? Steve, your emails went viral on Twitter. The one about the NSA and FBI outsourcing to contractors. That one went viral, and Karen Stewart reposted it. That's how hot that message was you sent me. So I appreciate it. How are you doing, and what's going on? It's Targeted West.
I'm doing all right. I'm just wanting to make a difference, and something that I do that I've been doing that anyone can do is just every day put in your Google or in your DuckDuckGo Havana syndrome. See what stories are coming up, and we seem to have something every couple of days, sometimes every day, and then share it, and share it to other news organizations. So I'm thinking that they'll look at that and they'll say, maybe we need to do something. So, the more news organizations, the more people behind it, the sooner we'll have something ironclad done. But I forget what show I heard it on. I heard someone mention the name of a contractor that looks like they're a gang stalking company. And yeah, I just did my best to send it to everyone. And were you the one that sent it to Karen Stewart?
Yeah. Yes. Well, through
Okay,
Twitter.
great.
Yeah.
Well, that's great. I'm glad I'm doing some kind of good.
You got directly
I
up
think
to you that was incredible. That yeah, and then the guy from IntelliHub personally follows me with his personal name and with his website and liked and clicked and reposted my 1,000 people onto his 14,000. So you basically, like I said earlier, you went viral, Stephen.
that's great. I've never been viral. I'm
And
trying.
you know what,
I'm
Stephen,
trying.
you told me your story about the foreclosures and everything, and I think you
Yes.
need a little lift me up, and I wanted to make sure I told you that you are definitely
Oh,
included in our work group and a viable and important part of the TI community, and we appreciate you. And your emails are incredible, so thank you.
thank you. Thank you so much. I've been trying to work on a little something, and I sent it to you to just kind of look over, is just mentioning Havana syndrome and American moms and dads are being affected. Because, we know the stories out there that the embassy workers and some government high officials in Washington are being affected by it, but we're not hearing moms and dads in America. And as soon as we can do that, then we'll be tied into hopefully some type of funding. If the government officials are getting $1 billion apiece, we should too.
And that's why
the main thing,
Targeted
though,
Justice has that lawsuit, which goes to Garland and the FBI and such. So yeah, and it mentions Havana syndrome in the complaint.
absolutely. Well, that's great.
So I think just everybody do their thing. David versus Goliath. If we all do our thing and communicate and all work on our projects, I think we can get this taken care of in a year or two or less. I think it'll be over with, and the people will go into hiding for another generation, and MK Ultra 3 will come out.
Also, Miss Goji had a great idea, and I look forward to following up with her, is that we got together and she put a letter get together of roughly what to say when you call Jim Jordan's office. He's the one that's in charge of the weaponization, looking at the weaponization of the FBI and the government, and basically, the things that are happening to us. But so we've been calling and saying those words. Moms and dads are being affected by Havana syndrome, electronic attacks, electronic harassment, and if I would beg all the TIs listening now, excuse me, to look Jim Jordan up, get on his website, see the number, call, I guess, anytime, because all you're going to get is a recording anyway. And just to note that the recording time for you to speak is pretty short. So either, because you have to say your name and address and so forth. So maybe do 2 calls, and let them know you're going to make 2 calls. Give them your name, address, and, the topic maybe, and then call right back and say, moms and dads are being affected by the Havana syndrome here in America. They need to be addressed, and, just give it your best spiel. We had also came up with the idea of kind of leaving out things like gang stalking and mind control and things like that. We've got to slowly educate these politicians and the regular public with the things they can grasp hold of, and the American public seems to be getting in their mind Havana syndrome and understanding, that It's an invisible frequency, but but the main thing is that it's just not officials of the government. It's regular citizens.
Gotcha. Hey, anybody have any comment for Stephen? It's open mic. Anybody want to come on in and talk to Steve and I?
Well, I'll just say that it's awesome that you went viral, and I'm not even one of the people that, go viral. I mean, I'm not one of those people that's online, but I do, enjoy a good news story, good information. When something like that goes pretty big, that's cool.
Thank you.
Yeah, matter of fact, Stephen, I literally thought you broke my Twitter, because right after I posted that, they wouldn't allow YouTube to show embedding on Twitter, and I thought you broke my Twitter, but in fact, Elon Musk broke it separately. So.
Okay.
You do know when you break the Twitter and things like that happen, you're winning. We're winning when we do that, because we're getting the word out and we're breaking the system.
My perp stole my computer a while back, and so I've just had a phone, and I had a real bad one, but I've got a pretty good one now, and so I've been attempting to. They kind of kicked me off Facebook, but I had another look. But I don't really. I haven't loaded up a lot of things on the phone, and it begs me to join in with all of all these the Twitters, and I just think I'm doing okay by keeping it away, just trying to make it more difficult for them to read everything I'm doing, and I don't know if it makes any sense.
It totally makes sense.
You know what I mean? By having the Google enhancements and all of that, I'm staying away from it.
If you know people that are already on Twitter, like we have several people here that are on Twitter and Facebook and stuff, and so when I want to get information out, I can just send it to them. I don't have to be on there.
Exactly.
Okay.
So,
right.
So this is handy.
Because it's even common knowledge, that they have said that the government has access to Facebook and Twitter, and they can hold things back. They definitely read your messages on the message thing on Facebook. I mean, it's straight to the government. Period. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that.
Can I make a quick
sure.
add-on? In-Q-Tel funded LifeLog, which was a CIA project, and they turned it into Facebook. So you're correct. It is a government thing to begin with.
Right, and I remember. I've written to my sheriff and to some of the higher people up and they act like they're not even getting it, but I know they're getting it. Something I mentioned a while back, just recently, that if any of the TIs want to vent, I don't know if it's, but what I do, I don't vent to my perp anymore. Every once in a while I might, but how you do it, because they basically have a clone of your phone. And how you do it is just give yourself a text message to your number, but write them, and if you want to tell them off. And I don't think it does any good or whatever, but it's just something in your tool bag if you've got no other way to. You really must talk to them, and I know some people just want to vent and let them know how they feel. And know they got it. That's just something that to throw out there. Just recently, though, I heard on I believe it was James's show, which has helped me this week, is someone mentioned to listen to the music you listened to when you were a teenager, and just crank it up in your house. And I did, and I tell you what, I got more things done this week than I have the whole week, and it just put me in a great mood and gave me energy. And so consider trying that tomorrow when y'all wake up and see if it helps you.
It works for me, but unfortunately, when I was a kid, it was disco, so I'm listening to the disco. Because that was big. That was huge in the 70s, yeah. And I watched Chips and all those TV shows that have the theme song that's disco-ish, and that makes me happy, yeah. You are correct. You made me think after you mentioned that. It's really a value to mention that. It's a good suggestion.
The other thing that happened this week was it happened 2 weeks ago. I think on Frank's show, he mentioned about cranium. We've already talked about this, but I contacted Happy Hippo site and I looked at it, and they said, we're going to send you free cranium, if you want it. And they sent it to me, and they just take a little half a teaspoon of it and put it in your tea, and I don't know. It seems to help. I've been moving along pretty good.
Are you talking about Kratom, Kratom? Kratom?
Yeah, that's. Yeah. I think you had mentioned last week
they sell that at the head shop. The head shop has it around the corner from here. Yeah, it's very popular for people who have trying to get off of opioids, and it can help with pain and other things. It does have some side effects, but have you had any side effects? Probably not. Sounds like you got cleaning the house there. The music and the cleaning and the Kratom got you going.
Oh, yeah. And they gave me 12 doses. They say 12 servings for free, and of course, they get you to buy it in the future. And Frank said that the prices that he saw that they had were real cheap, and I don't have any extra money right now, but at least I know in the future I might order a little bit of it and keep it part of my regimen. But for me,
I have my cannabis oil, and I take krill oil, the fish oil krill, and vitamins, and I take care of myself a lot, and I feel pretty good. I don't think I need anything else. But if you need it, you need it.
Well, listen to my regimen, and I try to do this every day. I have one avocado, and I don't like avocados or any vegetables, so I take it and I put it in the blender and grind it up and drink it. But I also swig a little bit of honey. I put in a jar this bee pollen. They just sell it at the health food stores, and it's just little granules of bee pollen. And the first time you take it, you're going to be really amazed because it's like the vitamins your body doesn't have. I take a few of those, I throw it in there. I put a little dash of cayenne pepper, a little bit of cinnamon, the turmeric, put a little bit of that in there. And
turmeric helps with inflammation. That's good.
Yeah, and I just all the natural things. I just throw them all in a cup and drink it up, and it starts my day off pretty good.
That's pretty darn good advice. Well, we're going to close the recording down now. I appreciate you guys helping me with a 1-hour presentation we'll have on YouTube, BitChute, and archive.org. My name is DJ Chris, and thank you again for watching the video. We're going to continue the conference call. You're always welcome to join us at freeconferencecall.com. The ID is TargetedWest, and you can check us out there. And thank you, Stephen, HC, everyone, Laura, for your input. And thank you We're going to wrap this up in just a moment. We're going to wrap the clock up. We're coming up to the top of the hour, and there we are. Thank you guys again for watching me on your video platform of choice. And I will be here next week to talk about Project Blackjack, which is a low-orbiting satellite system used by the military. Talk to you then. That'll be show number 45.